Welcome to Conversations. Why would the leader of the largest democracy in the world take an audacious step of traveling to a country like Russia, which is virtually a pariah nation today? Post the Ukraine war, Russia has faced bans from every place, left, right, and center. The visit of Narendra Modi after 9 years to Russia is his first overseas visit after assuming office for the third term. The Russian President Vladimir Putin had invited PM Modi to the summit to discuss contemporary global and local issues. The visit of PM Modi is also a sign to the United States and to the NATO allies not to take India for granted. India has in the past year cocked a snook at the United States by buying Russian oil at a steep discount, bypassing the traditional banking channels. The visits will see a series of firsts, and let's look at them one by one. One, it is the first visit since the start of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which began in 2022. It is the first visit in 5 years since the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok in 2019. It is the first visit to Moscow by PM Modi after 2015. It is the first visit by PM Modi after taking charge of the government for the third term in the country. It is the first visit by PM Modi after Mr. Putin's re-election as the Russian president for the fifth time. It is also Modiji's first visit of the BRICS summit in October in Russia. The visit amidst the reports of PM Modi skipping SCO summit in July amidst regional developments. The ties with Russia is an emphasis that India is not going to give up on its old friends just because we have new friends. India's justification for this move to buy Russian crude was that it had to take care of its domestic crude requirements and keep the domestic prices under check. Since then, India has broad-based its buying of crude and gas, including buying from countries as far as Venezuela, which is also stuck in an economic crisis like Russia. The India-Russia summit, for which PM Modi has been invited by President Putin, will be held on the 8th and 9th of July and could see India announce fresh investment to step up its presence in Russia's Far East. A big push is expected in increasing the Indian presence in the Russian Far East that is endowed with energy resources and minerals, with the Chennai-Vladivostok route being utilized big time. Sources indicated that the Indian announcement on this cannot be ruled out as a part of the Act Far East policy. Russia on its own is expecting Indian companies to invest heavily in this region, having already done so in the energy sector there. In 2019, Prime Minister Modi was the chief guest at the Russian Eastern Economic Forum, and India had announced then a 1 billion line of credit on that occasion. With Moscow out of the international banking system, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin may focus on the payment system for trade. A key focus of the India-Russia annual summit in Moscow this Tuesday between Prime Minister Modi and President Vladimir Putin will be on devising mechanisms for the easy and quick transfer of money between the two countries. This is more of a problem since the US imposed a ban on banking channels. This has gained significance in the backdrop of the ban on the use of SWIFT and by Russia and the unprecedented surge in the bilateral trade since the Ukraine war. The two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, are also expected to initiate a process to allow the use of national currencies by tourists and students. This will include the use of RuPay cards, which is already happening in many places now in Russia, and the MIR cards in India. While 60% of the India-Russia trade is currently in national currency, the need for a real-time and faster payment in the absence of SWIFT has been felt. It is in this context that Prime Minister Modi and President Putin are expected to focus on creating a special mechanism. And that is very, very important for Russia especially. The Society for Worldwide Financial Telecommunication, or SWIFT for short, is a channel through which cross-border bank transactions are typically taking place. But the Ukraine war has put a brakes on that for Russia. Trade between India and Russia stood at around $65.7 billion in the financial year ended March 2024, which is up from 33% from the previous year. The two sides are seeking to make progress on a bilateral investment treaty as well as signing a free trade agreement with Moscow-led Eurasian Economic Union. Plans in the pipeline to increase exports from India to Russia across sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and services will also be discussed in detail. Certain sectors in Russia are not sanctioned by the West, including the United States, and there could be a renewed emphasis on these sectors. However, sectors associated with electronics that are in demand in Russia are under scanner of Western governments. The highlight of the July 8-9 visit will be a private dinner that President Putin will host for Prime Minister Modi on Monday in the Kremlin. This underscores their personal rapport which they have built up over the last 10 years. At a separate restricted format meeting on Tuesday, they will discuss and decide on the key elements of the strategic partnership between Russia and India. There is a history of these two leaders engaging in restricted and private format talks over the past 10 years. The summit will give fresh impetus to the joint defense production, which has been the hallmark of India-Russia strategic partnership from a long time. India will also push for a timely delivery of the S-400 air defense missile systems, which is crucial for its security. Russia was supposed to deliver the 5 squadrons by early 2024, but the supplies suffered delays due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. India has already received 3 squadrons of the S-400 out of the 5 that it had ordered in 2018. The Indian Air Force has fully activated all the 3 S-400 air defense missile squadrons that have been received from Russia so far. The 2 remaining missile squadrons, the S-400, are going to be supplied by August 2026 by Russia, and this will help in making the Indian air defense system further stronger than before. The type of deployment that have been made to suggest that India has at this moment at least 1.5 squadrons each on a 2-front war, one with China and the other with Pakistan. The first 3 squadrons have already been operationalized in the northern and eastern sectors respectively and have taken part in aerial exercises too to prove their competence. The system with its missiles of different ranges can take on enemy ballistic and cruise missile, fighter aircraft and unmanned aerial vehicles, flying at distances up to 400 kilometers. With the war with Ukraine dragging on and on, not only Russia but even the US and NATO are tired, and they see this as turning out to be a financial drag, not only with the beneficiary, the only beneficiary in this case, being the Ukrainian President Zelensky. With a new Labour government in the United Kingdom, there is likely to be a review, and if UK should keep its funding down on Ukraine, that is because its own economy is in a big mess. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Prime Minister Modi has held several telephonic conversations with President Putin and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, stressing the importance of ending the war that has impacted the global economy in a big way. In reflection of its strong friendship with Russia, India has not yet condemned Moscow's invasion of Ukraine and has been maintaining that the conflict must be resolved through diplomatic and dialogue. Russian-Indian relations are at the level of strategic partnership, and there would be both one-on-one talks in Kremlin and those involving delegations in this particular summit. The West, of course, is closely watching and jealously watching Prime Minister Modi's visit to Russia. The United States is naturally jealous and is closely monitoring it, as I stressed before, because they attach great importance to this visit of Prime Minister Modi. And they are not mistaken. There is something to attach great importance to which, of course, the Western nations are actually particular. because Prime Minister Modi's visit to Russia may lead to some kind of thaw in the war with Ukraine. The two leaders will review the entire range of multifaceted relations between two countries and exchange views on the contemporary regional and global issues of mutual interest to both Russia and India. Whatever said and done, the significance of the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi chose Russia as his first international stop in his third term in office is not lost on anyone, especially on United States and the European Union. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.